Shout out Bruce Gas, aka Toka 2. You know I had to drop a trap for my boy.
Where you at?
Yeah, capping in harassing boys out here telling favors. I'm the hardest young nigga, I ain't signed to no label. Hey, Bruce Gas putting no fights on the table. Calling that Boston since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fatal. I'm the people's champion like Muhammad Ali. Shut up, Bruce Gas, one day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, we gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, take a hit out the Toka 2. Slipping hella shots, feel like Tyson with the peak. A little Glock on my side, but it hit just like Isaac Cruz. Shout out Mad Chad, real shit, that's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the panel. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sandals. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Ayy, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like Bruce Gas always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this a fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed. Yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Good evening. Good evening. This is Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and More. I'm joined by my brother Eddie from Coastal Boxing, man. We're up here tonight. We're going to do an interview with a prospect, a light heavyweight prospect. His name is Darius Fulghum, and he's signed with Golden Boy Promotions. We're waiting for him to come in. He's got a very interesting story. And anyway, Eddie, how are you doing, brother?
Not bad, man. Not bad, Bruce. How's everything going this evening, man?
Hey, Friday night seemed like a short week. We had the holiday on Monday, blew right through. We had boxing last night on a Thursday night. First time I've seen world championship fights on a Thursday night in years, bro, in years. I mean, it's just that things.
That one.
Definitely. Eddie, why don't you tell the guys that come in here? I got people in my room. Tell them a little bit about yourself, bro. Tell them who you are. There's Skywalker out there, man, and Daniel Berry Sports is in here.
Skywalker, salute Skywalker. What's going on, man? Yeah, my name is Eddie. Everyone call me Eddie Unsteady. You know, I have a podcast here on Coastal Boxing. I also do box myself. Yeah, trying to just promote, you know, great content out here for all of our viewers, you know. You know how we do it.
Salute Coco the Bulldog. No, Eddie, you've been putting in that work, man. You've been getting these up and coming fighters. We had Scrappy Ramirez. You brought in the coach Evan Tobler. I mean, you know, you've been putting in the work, bro. You've been getting in touch with these fighters. You've been talking them into coming out for interviews, and hey, I appreciate it. I'm here to give you the give you my resources if you can. I know, we're working together. We all got small channels, but, we combine them. We get the word out there, and we make something happen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, those fights last night. What you thought about those fights, Bruce?
They put me to sleep, to be honest with you. Well, actually, the card itself was real interesting, especially the Navarrete and Consencio. I can never get his name right, but I mean he rose to the occasion. Navarrete was just his tough self. Every time he landed a punch, he was doing damage. He floored Consencio twice in the fight, but Consencio he had that heart last night, man. He was not going to be stopped. His determination. He got a majority draw out of the fight. Impala, salute my brother. So that was getting me salivating to see Shakur come out there, because Shakur, regardless of what you can say about him, he's an extremely talented fighter. He is just
he had a bad night. I guess he had a bad night.
Well, it seems like he's having a kind of a bad career, bro. He what he has to do is he's got to get more offensively minded up here. Hey, G Funky, my brother, salute, bro. Thank you for coming by, man. We're waiting for Darius Fulghum. He's going to stop in here. I think he is. I never met the man. This will be my first time meeting him. Eddie got in touch with him. Like, Eddie, how do you meet these guys, man?
I connect with them on Instagram and everything like that. He say he's joining in right now. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's everything about social networking these days. We trying to get these great content out here. Non-biased. You know how we are. Looking at everything open-minded out here.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. I think I see Darius just snuck in the back room here, man. This is the first time that I met the gentleman. He's a fighter. Hey, Darius, man. Salute to you. My name's Bruce Gass. It's a pleasure to have you in the building
Hey,
tonight.
How's it going?
nice to meet you.
How you
Nice
doing
to
there?
meet you, brother. So,
My name is Eddie. I'm with Coastal Box. We're here with Bruce Gass. Um, how's everything going, man? How you been feeling?
Hey, look, we've been feeling good. I'm excited. I got this fight coming up pretty soon, December 2nd, and so I'm ready to put on the show.
Eddie, let's go. Let's go. I'm sorry, Darius. Let's go back to the beginning here, man. Let's
For
introduce
sure.
yourself to these people. I mean, dude, you got an amazing story, bro. You
Thank
really
you.
do. Nobody's got a story like you, bro.
Thank
Fuck
you.
it. I mean, let's go right from the beginning. Tell these people who you are, where you came from, and you're a heavyweight in the Olympics, bro. That's just an amazing story, and the number one Olympian in the country at heavyweight. So please elaborate. Tell us where you came from. I'm sorry, I'm going
Okay,
on.
So,
I know. I try to make it as brief as possible, but I kind of started boxing a little bit late. I started my senior year of high school. Um, I was had a wrestling background at first, and I thought about going to MMA. But went to a boxing gym. I started boxing. I fell in love with it immediately. Came from a small town in Killeen, Texas. Was there boxing for about a year and a half. Then moved out to Houston. Met a lot of amazing people. Networked a lot, and really just kept growing as a fighter. Went to college. Got my degree in nursing while I was still trying to box at the same time. Seriously, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. Trying to juggle the two, especially since boxing wasn't a school sport. So like, especially getting a degree like nursing, it was kind of hard trying to go to the big tournaments I needed to really get the exposure and experience to really help me for the pros. But I got lucky in some cases where my schedule freed up and I was able to go win the National Golden Gloves 2018, and then I graduated May 2019, and the Olympic trials was December of 2019. So everything kind of worked out in my favor where I was able to do what I needed to do to go qualify to be on Team USA.
No,
And
people don't realize how important that National Golden Gloves title is. I mean, that's like Sugar Ray Robinson, um, Joe Louis. I mean, bro, that's the elite. That's the elite of the amateur, the pinnacle of the United States amateur the competition. And why didn't you stick around? Because I was during COVID too. Is that one of the reasons you didn't stick around for the Olympics?
well, no, so what happened with the Olympics is I won the Olympic trials and I was on Team USA, and I was going to represent USA in the Olympics. But when COVID happened, everything got pushed back a year. So I was still on the team during that time period. But what ended up happening was our qualifier. So when Olympic trials didn't secure a spot in Tokyo, so we had to go to another qualifier in Argentina. And so maybe like 2 weeks out, we were about to go to Argentina. The whole tournament got canceled again. And then so what
Mm.
they ended up doing was they went by old ranking points from like 2018, 2019. And that's how they selected the people who were going to represent USA in the Olympics. And unfortunately for me, I wasn't on the team at that time, so I didn't have any ranking points. So I got kind of the short end of the stick, and I didn't really have opportunity to really qualify for the Olympics. So then after that happened, that's when I then turned pro.
Now, how did you get into the nursing field? I mean, that's a female dominated occupation. Did I know your father was a driving force, man. I read something about that. Tell us a little about how that got into.
Yeah, I wish I could give you like a really good story. I just remember that was always what I was going to do. I know my dad introduced it to me, kind of told me about it. And it was like, hey, they need men in nursing. It's a great career field. It's never stagnant. A lot of different things you can go into. You'll always have a job. Technology won't take over nursing. Um, and so, I mean, with all those factors at play, I was a chunky kid when I was growing up. And so when I got really serious about my health, I started trying to learn more about the human body and anatomy. And I think my whole mindset was, okay, well, look, I just take this seriously, going to nursing, and it was always my priority to finish that. Then, right when I finished, take my whole craft into boxing.
Nice, nice, nice. We got we, we got another guest here, bro. How we doing, brother? This is really Eddie's show, man. I'm just letting him use my platform over here, and how we doing, bro?
Well, so could you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir.
I'm just coming back from another gym. I went to visit a fighter right now, but I'm here driving home. How are you guys?
All good, bro. All good.
We're just getting started, man. Darius is telling us about how he got into the sport, and I know. I mean, you were a heavyweight, man. Were you a natural heavyweight, or were you just a big kid? You learn how to take care of your body as the time went on. Tell us about how you and then you want to be a middleweight too, a super
Yeah.
middleweight. You,
What?
let's elaborate on that a little bit. And there's a question for you from my brother G Funky in the audience. I guess before we do that, he wants to know if you have an opponent set for your December 2nd fight.
Yeah, I do have an opponent for December 2nd. His
Ancho,
name
isn't it?
is yeah, his name is Pacino Hill. He's my opponent for December 2nd.
Okay. Let's get back to the amateur career.
Yeah.
You're a boy stepping into boxing now. How did you lean down so rapidly and so tightly?
Well, actually, when in the amateurs, I was originally fighting at light heavyweight and was 178 at the time. And because of how my schedule worked out, uh, I wasn't able to go compete at certain tournaments. I wouldn't have the luxury to leave for a whole week. And so at the time, when I was doing Golden Gloves, the best competition in Houston at the time was at 201. And so I was like, well, I'd rather just fight, the better competition here. And so I did 201 and I won. And then, so when you win Houston Golden Gloves, then you go to Texas Golden Gloves. And then when you win that, you go to National Golden Gloves. So I didn't think I was going to be able to go to Texas Golden Gloves because of my schedule, but everything worked out. It freed up. And so at that point, I was now stuck at 201. And I was always a smaller guy. Like I was weighing 184, fighting at 201, walking around. And so, but then I won Texas Golden Gloves and I went to Nationals, won National Golden Gloves. And that was just a better weight class for me at the time. But I was always a smaller guy. Like I was never really that big, even when I was fighting at 201. The
Now,
most I got up to was like 190.
being in the medical field, did you learn how to properly take that weight off, keeping your muscle, burning your fat, like increasing your metabolism? I mean, it isn't just quit eating.
Yeah.
There's a big process into slimming down to another weight class.
No, absolutely. And I mean, the one thing that I learned from the amateurs is because there was a point in time I cut down like extremely low. I did it terribly and I felt miserable, So I'm never a big fan of cutting weight. Like the fight is stressful in and of itself. And, you know, cutting weight on top of that is just extra stress added on that I don't like to take on. So I always get down on my weight way ahead of time um, because that way I'm performing to the best of my ability. Like you hear people all the time, once they step on the scale and weigh in, they're like, okay, the hard part's over. Like, no, that shouldn't really be the hard part. If you take care of that stuff beforehand, you know, be a professional, then you'll be all good. And then that way you can focus a lot more on the fight rather than worrying about your weight.
Man, I'll tell you. Yeah, can you explain that to me too? How do these fighters rehydrate now? I know that they got the rehydration clauses, different catch weights, but it seems like fighters they're doing the day before weigh-ins now, and they're coming into the fight 15 pounds heavier than when they stepped on the scale. How do they do that?
Well, because realistically, all they're doing is the day before that they're draining all their water weight anyway. So after they step on the scale, once you start putting all that fluids back in you, you're naturally going to shoot back up to what you cut at. Uh, I don't necessarily like to gain necessarily too much weight. Like I said, but the thing, I'm not cutting as much either. Um, but it is crazy, people feel like they get an advantage by cutting that much weight. They feel like that'll make them a better fighter. But sometimes I think opposite. I think that like hurts fighters more than it helps them. My big thing is if you can fight, you can fight. Sometimes like the weight does play a factor when the skill level is the same, but I think I'm big on just focusing on the skills more than the weight.
So I have a question. So how long now you been with Golden Boy promotion?
I just signed with them not that long ago. I've had like I've been on a couple of their cards. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been on 4 of their cards this year. But we just got signed with them a couple months ago.
I have a question. What made you choose Golden Boy over other promoters?
I had a really good relationship with Golden Boy. So I actually, when I first turned pro, I signed with another promoter, Probellum. I'm not sure if you guys heard of them. They're supposed to be a bigger
No,
promotion company coming out.
Yeah.
They were who I originally had signed with, and then stuff kind of they end up rebranding. They end up got bought out, and it's a weird situation. I don't really know too much details about it, but we had a better relationship with Golden Boy. Like I said, I was on 4 of their cards this year, and how they were handling stuff, they were treating me a lot better. And I know Oscar's big approach to making some of the bigger fights happen, and I do believe in the future that we can make those big fights happen. The tie with the zone does have especially in my weight class, like Top Rank doesn't really have anybody in my weight class at 168. Now PBC does have a lot of fighters at 168, but the issue I feel like with PBC, in my personal opinion, is being a prospect with PBC is kind of tough. You don't really get much. You don't really get the recognition. Like PBC is a great place to be when you're a champion. They promote the hell out of their champions. But as a prospect, not necessarily so much.
I know. No, I'm sorry, Ezekiel. Go ahead, bro.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I was going to say, like, I get what you're saying, because I realized with the zone, they have a lot of they like to promote a lot of their prospect fighters, and they do a lot of prospect fight cards, like on Thursday nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They do a lot of they show out for the prospects.
Right.
So I definitely understand where you're coming from.
And that's the main thing, really. The publicity is everything. Being able to be seen is the most important thing. The other thing with Golden Boy is I have a lot of activity with them, so I'll be able to stay active and constantly be fighting. Where I'm not fighting every 4 or 5 months, the goal is they're planning on keeping me extremely active and like fighting every other month. So that's really the plan.
Now, bro, yeah, I was looking at how many times you fought in 2023. What did you fight? 5 or 6 times in like 10 months?
Yeah, this is gonna be fight number 6 this year, and realistically, it's a impressive feat for a reason, because my first fight this year was April 29th. It was almost like five months into the year, and I was able to rack out 6 fights. So
I mean, that's great. I mean, look, fighters aren't doing that today. Do you think inactivity is killing a lot of these boxers' careers? Because you see in PBC fighters once every 15 months, and I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how the inactivity that's going on today.
yeah, I feel like that part is hurting the sport. The main thing really with building big name superstars is to constantly be in people's face. Once you're not, you kind of get forgotten about.
For sure, man. For sure. Hey, how was it at AT&T Stadium? I know you were on a Errol Spence undercard, a packed stadium. How was it fighting under the big lights up there, bro?
I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing because I grew up not too far from there, maybe like 2.5 hours from there. It's one of the biggest stadiums in the country. And the one thing I wish, I was the very first fight on that card, mind you. So I fought at like 4:00, and I was there all day, watching all the fights. But I remember walking out into the stadium, and I was looking around like, yo, I can just imagine what it's like fighting in there when it's packed. Obviously when I fought, it wasn't as packed, But Errol Spence sold that show out, and it was an amazing experience, just an amazing atmosphere to be around.
What's going on with Errol Spence, man? Do you think that fight coming to the rematch coming up is necessary? I don't know. A lot of people I talk to, they don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to see it. I think Errol Spence is. I think he needs to reevaluate his career, get a couple of fights under his belt. He's stepping right in back there with Bud Crawford in a rematch. What do you think of that, man? And I like Errol Spence too, bro.
I like Errol Spence too. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very hard to watch. Like even the first fight, watching, I was like, yeah, somebody please stop this fight. Like it
Yes,
got really hard to watch.
right, right.
But I gotta admit though, something really did. I feel like had to been wrong with Spence because I've never seen Spence look that bad. I've also never seen Bud look that strong. Like I know Bud is strong, but man, he looked strong that fight.
Yeah,
But still, looking at it, it's hard for me to feel like anything would be different in the next fight. Like it was such a dominant performance by Bud that it's hard for me to imagine that the outcome would be any different. Obviously, there's a big incentive for Spence. It was a big money fight. Spence could be, he had those accidents, car accident, the injury with his eye. He could just be like, man, I'm just get this last big check and be out. But as far as fans go, if he's not gonna really give it 100% and give everything, then it's like, do I really want to? Do we really want to see it? If the fight happens, I'm gonna watch it because I'm a boxing fan. But
right.
it's gonna be hard. I feel like it's gonna be hard to watch if it is the same outcome.
I I got a question for you, Darius.
What's up, bro?
How old do you think the fight will look at 154?
How do I think the fight would look at 154?
Yeah.
See, it's hard to say because I don't know what the problem with Spence was. If it was him cutting weight like that, and that goes to my point, what I was talking about earlier, weight cut. If Spence looked like that because of the weight cut, then that just then validates the reason why I said cutting weight is terrible for you as a fighter.
Right.
So if Spence does come back at and then the fight's at 54 and Spence like looked completely different, then that's everybody that needs to know why cutting weight is a terrible idea. Cutting weight wrong. So again, I'm interested to see it if that is the difference factor, but it's hard to see. I mean, you're saying Spence is gonna be stronger. It seems like Bud will also be stronger as well.
Right.
What do you think of Saudi Arabia? What they're doing for boxing lately, man?
That was one of the best events I've ever actually kind of watched.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they really put on a spectacle, and then they're having another big, the big card near
Oh, the
Christmas.
23rd.
Man, that card is stacked.
Oh well, I've been watching boxing now since the late '60s, and that's the biggest card I've ever seen in my life. I
Man,
mean, people say no, Don King against those cards. No fucking way. He's got everybody on that heavyweight card, man.
It's
you
all
know,
it's amazing.
what's going to be hard though, which could be detrimental to the sport, is the fact that I just know the Saudis are paying extremely well for these fights. I don't know how much they're getting paid. I'm just imagining that they're getting paid extremely well. It's gonna be
Oh,
hard sometimes. It's gonna be hard sometimes. I feel like for like mega fights to happen unless Saudi is involved in it to make it happen.
That's exactly what
Because
we were talking about on my show like a couple weeks ago. It's
yeah,
like whenever the Saudi get involved, like we're gonna get the fight. It's like it's kind of crazy how it plays out now.
yeah. Because
well,
I mean, you
no,
really think about it though. Like you can take this into other sports, right? If Patrick Mahomes he gets a big contract, now every quarterback that is similar to Patrick Mahomes' skill level is looking at that and like, oh, y'all paying Pat, then I need to get paid that or more. And I say that to say other people now looking at like, no. We saw this, they're paying, I don't know, let's say they're paying Tyson Fury 100 million or something. Now anybody kind of close to this like kind of wanted money similar to that. And or they'll just wait it out till Saudi is gonna pay for the fight. So I
That's
feel
it.
like unless Saudi's involved in it, then a lot of these big fights aren't going to happen because people are going to want like, oh no. If Saudi's going to pay 100 mil for them to fight, then I'll just wait till Saudi's going to pay me and whoever to fight because that's the best opportunity I might have to get paid the most.
well, I think that benefits the majority of boxing because we don't go to live events. We watch the fights on pay per view or streaming or whatever it may be. And,
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 and
and I think those Saudis are the best negotiators. The boxers are fiddling for 100,000 here, 500,000 here. The Saudis just say, okay.
yeah, so
Get into entertainment. Go ahead, man. I
yeah,
can go.
no, you're right because I mean that is the pro and the con, right? It's just now that Saudi have shown their card and know that they're going to throw events like this and pay out like this, just say, for example, if they were just to stop doing it, then now there'd be a whole deadlock on big fights happening. I really do feel like that is the case. Unless Saudi's involved, which just leaves, it's a good thing because
Well,
If Saudi stays involved, we're going to keep getting huge mega fights that's going to happen. Because I'm pretty sure they're paying career-ending money. For people like, oh yeah, I would be dumb not to take this offer, you know? And so it is good as long as Saudi stays involved.
well, I think the other countries are going to be working almost like a farm system, and you work your way up to going to the palace and dealing with His Royal Highness, because that is the pinnacle. That's 100 million. Eventually, you're going to see $100 million paydays.
Right.
And plus they signed for the ultimate fight, the fight we've been waiting for years, and that's Usyk and Tyson Fury, and that's a done deal for February 17th now.
Yep.
I mean, that is just it's really blowing my mind. This week we had that fight last night, the first two title fights on a weeknight in years. We had the huge event with Fury and Nagano. I mean, every boxer and their brother was there, and the Saudis paid those guys good money. I know a couple of the legends that were there. They were like $20,000, all expenses paid, and another bonus when you got there. These guys are passing out money like it was Halloween, and they're giving candy bars to kids. And hey, man, if that's the way the world is run now, I think boxers should benefit off that, man. Really, and they're going to make our sport popular again. I see good things coming out of this. Showtime said fuck boxing. They're going to show boxing. Years ago, HBO did that, and now the Saudis picked up the ball, and let them run with it, man. Let's see what they can do. It's a global market out there.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I think they're gonna make some really big things happen. Like I said, they already started, right? I can imagine also what the Tyson Fury Usyk card is gonna look like. And it's crazy though because they're really just heavyweights. They're doing like all stacked heavyweight cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the glamour division, man. That's what I think they're doing it for their own entertainment as much as ours.
That's exactly what it is. They don't care about what the price tag is. They want it to see for the entertainment.
Yeah.
No, because even the event itself was entertainment. I mean, they had a whole concerts in between fights. Like
They had like a whole Super Bowl concert.
yeah,
Literally.
they made it into a huge event that people want to attend. It's like I'm watching. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to the next one, right?
I have a question for all you guys, especially for Darius. You guys think Andy Ruiz should have been on this card?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean,
Isn't he injured right now?
I'm sorry, you said what?
Isn't he injured? Isn't he coming off a shoulder surgery or something like that?
No, I believe he said on an interview. I seen him personally. I think he was back to work as the other media reporters were interviewing him. He said he was back to work and he was talking about the Wilder and that Wilder was just lying that he wasn't asking for all that money, and Darius just wants to fight. He just wants to make the fight happen.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough because I've heard different things with Andrew Ruiz, and like I said, it seemed like he was being hard to do business with.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is the case. Again, sometimes it's hard to really have opinion on things like this because I don't really know. Like I'm not at the table negotiating. You just hear hearsay this, hearsay that. A lot of times we don't really know what the truth is.
Right.
I think an important question. I feel like I'm going to change the subject. One thing I want to ask about recent news that happened was the about Crawford getting stripped of the IBF and it being given to Boots. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey, you can look at somebody like Jamal Charlo, even his brother Jamel Charlo. They've gone a year. I think
More than a year.
300 days, 300 weeks. It's ridiculous. But as far as that goes, Errol Crawford only had that title for 2 months, and they stripped him of it, and they know he has a rematch clause with Spence. It's politics. It's crazy. I mean, Boots Ennis is a great fighter, but he's got to prove it. You know, he's an email champion. There's been many of them throughout history. This is an unprecedented. Those federations, the IBF, the WBC, the WB, they run boxing, and they're all run on nepotism themselves. Mauricio Suleiman's father was Jose Suleiman, the former president. That's WBC, WBA, Gilberto Mendoza, Carlos Mendoza. I mean, we're the idiots to follow these organizations. We know the best welterweight out there is Bud Crawford right now. Until he gets beat by Boots Ennis, then Boots Ennis doesn't belong. He shouldn't have a belt, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, my main thing is I don't think really Bud cares, but sure, everybody knows he's still undisputed. You know, until he gets beat, he's going to remain undisputed in the eyes of the public. I do wish they would have had Boots actually fight. If they would have stripped Bud and made it vacant and had Boots fight somebody for that vacant title just to make a fight happen for the title, I'd have been cool with that rather than just giving it to him, which is kind of weird. But I don't think Bud really cares about if he got stripped or not. Everybody knows he's still undisputed. You know, I feel like if they were to do that, I wish they would have done that and then to make a big fight happen for them to fight for the belt rather than just giving it to Boots. So at least that way he earned it, you know. And not say he's not worthy of it. I'm a big fan of Boots. I think Boots is extremely talented. You know, if I had to think anybody that could beat Bud, it would be him. Because he does have skills like that. But like I said, I wish he would have fought for it rather than it just being given.
All right, shout out to Peter Von Ox and John McSmith. Hey, you got a nickname of DFG. How did that come about? Because I know a lot of people would say, the F in the middle stands out there. I know what it stands for. Why don't you tell the people out here how you got that DFG tag?
What DFG stands for Destined for Greatness. And kind of how it came about really was, it's kind of a mindset that I had. But when I was thinking the nicknames, I didn't want to have anything corny, There's the Destroyer, there's the Punisher, or whatever, like I feel like that can be kind of cheesy. But I'm a big fan of Andre Ward, and Andre Ward's is SOG. And it kind of resonated with me in that same kind of sense. When I was coming up with DFG, I wanted something more inspirational and something that fit me. Because Destined for Greatness does fit me. It's something that I've always thought about when I was a child, that I was going to be great at something. I just didn't know what it was. And I finally found my passion, my gift, and like the whole thing of being destined for great isn't just like, I'm just going to go to the fight, and no, like there's a lot of work that gets put behind this, because this whole journey doesn't happen all the work and sacrifice I put in. So, but
what's your timetable, Darius? And who do you see as who are you shooting for? At what division? I don't know if it's light heavyweight or super middleweight.
I'd be super middleweight, and obviously there's a lot of stacked names in the division. Originally I was going to start at light heavyweight, but super middleweight is the more popular division, I feel like. And then you got a lot of big names: the Canelo, the Benavidez. You got Charlo goes up there, the Caleb Plant, David Morrell is coming up. We got Andrade, Erlanger. There's a lot of big names to fight. I'm not in a position in my career right where I'm able to call out these names. I haven't really made a full name of myself yet, but realistically, I know the skills that I have, and I do believe I can beat all of those guys. It's just a matter of time until I feel like I can get to that level where I can make a statement like that, and people don't be like, man, who is this guy? So all those guys I do believe I can beat. If I didn't believe that I could beat them, then I shouldn't be boxing.
Right on, brother. Shout out to Chinese Combat Sports out there. No, Darius isn't 19. He looks 19. I think you're about 27, 28 now, bro.
Yeah, 27.
I'll tell you, your
Hey,
walks.
I wish I still moved like I was 19. That would be beautiful. I have all the time in the world.
How's your workouts? What do you do? You do the road work early in the morning? Do you do a lot of sparring, a lot more bag work and stuff? What philosophy do you have in training?
One of my big philosophies really in training is really listening to my body. Give my body what it needs. So I don't have like program. I say program days. Typically I spar 3 times a week when I'm in camp. But as far as like even the intensity of the workouts, that's all determined based on how I am feeling that day. Because I know the days that I go hard, I go extremely hard. I go harder than most, and so there are those times where it's like, all right, you got to take care of yourself. And so I've been more focused in these camps and really, especially because I've been fighting so actively, to make sure I'm taking care of my body, that I'm staying at my peak. And sometimes people think you just got to kill yourself day after day after day after day after day, but it's not like that. You're only gonna hurt yourself. I had a friend who he has probably one of the best work ethics I've ever seen, and he's like, man, why am I? I'm just so tired. I'm like, bro, you need to take a rest. Like, you're killing yourself right now. Your body is broken down to the point like it really can't operate efficiently how it should, and those rest days are important. So I don't have like a strict training regimen I can tell you. Like I kind of do what needs to be done.
Okay.
That's as
Now, now,
basic
now,
as I
you,
could put it.
now you've been in some very impressive stables. Have you sparred with any champions or high ranked pros recently?
Yeah, well, actually, for this camp, I've been sparring with David Morrell. Um,
Oh,
he's getting ready to fight pretty soon as well too. He trains out here in Houston, so he's the most recent guy that I've been sparring with. Um, I spar with Gilberto Ramirez. We're in the same stable. I spar with Alex Gojdik. I spar with Jared Anderson. I spar with
mhm.
Joe Joyce. I spar with a lot of the guys I was on Team USA with. A lot of prospects coming up. Um, so I've been there with a lot of good talent for sure.
You've seen almost every style out there, then, and it's going to be pretty tough to pull a trick on you and send in some Rick.
I hope so. I hope so. My whole goal is be prepared for anything because
Right.
some people are always gonna have a little trick up their sleeve. You just gotta be ready for it.
Now you got to fight now. You got to fight in a few weeks coming up too. Now, so are you geared in? Are you still doing heavy sparring? Or have you already made the weight? Are you feel good there? Is you
Yeah, my
getting
weight,
burnt
my yeah,
stomach?
no, my weight's good. I still got one more week of sparring. Fights in 2 weeks. I still got sparring next week, and then but everything else is good though. Weight's good. My body's feeling really great right now. So now we're kind of almost at that kind of just maintenance phase. I'm in some of the best shape I've ever been. So I'm still. I came off a fight and just right back into camp. So
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of stuff is just maintained to make sure I don't have no injuries, make sure my body's taken care of.
Right on, brother. Yankee
You hear
Kyle.
that? Hey, you hear that? You hear that in Shakur in his last fight? That was the main thing he was talking about. That he. This goes what I said. I mean, what he said. Sometimes you treat the train way too much, and sometimes you gotta take a little break. A lot of people on the outside they be like, "Man, you're not working hard enough, or you what the like." Ah, but it's different. Boxing is a very grueling, brutal sport that puts a lot of wear and tear on your body, and so it's very important that we take care of it because our body is what we use to work, right? Like
Exactly. Your body's sacred, man.
it is, and so we always got to make sure we take care of it mentally and physically.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Have you been in 8 rounders yet, or 10 rounders? Are you working your way up to 10 rounders?
Yeah, this is my last two fights were were scheduled 8 rounders. This one is an 8 rounder, and I think after this one, it'll be 10. I'm going to 10 rounds. So this is my third scheduled 8 rounder. It's a little tough. It's a little tough though, because they haven't. Well, my first 8 rounder, I got a stoppage in the second round, and my Yeah, my first 8 round I got a stoppage in the second round. Then my second 8 round I got a stoppage in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think this opponent would be a really good opponent. Very durable, very tough. So I should be able to get some really good quality rounds in this fight.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Like a lot of these fighters nowadays, I feel like, especially like Wilder and stuff like that. It's like coming off a long stretch and everything. He hasn't been able to get those quality rounds in. You know, I get your point. Like you know, trying to get some quality rounds in. To get more experience and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, look, I mean, look at Berlanga's career and stuff, and he was getting a 16 first round knockouts, impressive, very, very impressive feat. Very impressive. Um, but at the end of the day, that can hurt you as a developing fighter when you get to that level, and you've been relying on your power, and then your power is not working no more. Then you're kind of like, oh damn, I ain't never been here before,
Hmm.
So getting those rounds in is important because it's only going to help further development of your career.
Nice, nice. Man, I'll tell you, you definitely for a guy who's been in the sport such a short amount of time, you have a lot of wisdom, and you an amazing background, bro, an amazing background. Starting as a heavyweight and coming down to super middleweight. I mean, that's a very admirable trait, man. It shows a lot of discipline, and that's something you need in this game is discipline, man. The nightlife in Houston is pretty wild. You find that tempting to stay on the straight and narrow, keep yourself on track.
No, I don't have any temptations like that. I'm really a homebody. I don't really like being out like that. And it's funny that you say that as I'm out, and it looks like I'm out. But surprisingly, if I showed you where I was at, I'm actually at a boxing event right now. There's actual, amateur fights going on right now inside.
Nice.
So I know it looks like I'm out in the city of Houston, which I am. But yeah, inside those doors over there, they got some boxing fights going on right now. So
Nice.
I'm out here just supporting some of these local guys.
We do appreciate your time too, man. And
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
wait for your fight. Coming up December 2nd, man. I
yeah.
seen a couple of your last fights, man, and you're definitely a very interesting fighter to watch, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to keep making my way up, man. Get more experience. I'm glad to finally get a little bit of exposure where I can be seen for other people to watch. First, like, shoot, 6 fights in my career, it's kind of done in the dark. So I'm glad at least in my performance to finally be able to be shed a little light and be able to be seen.
Nice. Now you're a knockout fighter too. All your victories have come by knockout. What do you rely on? Is it the right hand, the left hook, the body shots? What's your most effective punch in the ring, Darius?
I mean, this is very cliche. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't. I was saying this on the last broadcast. My last fight is like realistically, I don't see myself as being like a devastating puncher like that, and I think that is true. And the reason why I say that is because if I was to think that, then I'll start to get too carried away with it. I start to depend on it. But the thing that I depend on the most really is my brain, is my IQ in the sport. Um, when you when you really attach something like your best trait to being something so physical, like I got one of the best right hands, I got one of the best jabs in the game. Sometimes you get very dependent on that one thing, and once that one thing is taken away, it's like you lose everything. And so my whole big thing is really, really relying on this, so it leaves me open to using everything else that I got. I know that's probably doesn't make the most sense. But ultimately, what I'm saying is the most thing I rely on is my IQ in the sport. It allows me
Nice.
to really calculate and break guys down. I think I'm more of a break them down type of fighter rather than a one punch, one hitter quitter type of guy.
Are there any fighters of the past that you admire or that you style yourself after?
If I had to pick anybody, I would say Andre Ward. He's my favorite fighter, without a doubt. I'm a big fan of his whole entire career. You know, Olympic gold medalist, went undefeated, retired on his own terms from super middleweight to light heavyweight. Now winning and commentating, he's extremely articulate on how he speaks. I love a lot of the stuff that he talks about. He talks about a lot of things that I resonate with. So I would say him, and I love him as a fighter too, and how he fought. And he had a lot of great tricks of the trade that I admire. So I would have to say him.
All right, man. Eddie dipped out. Must be that Kmart Wi-Fi that he's using. But he, he had to leave us. But anyway, bro. I mean, it's been awesome to meet you, man. You know, I know we took up a little time. It's been great, Darius. You want to tell these people where they can get in contact and where they can follow you?
Yeah, really, just my Instagram, which is just my name at Darius Fulghum, Darius Fulghum. Mostly just on Instagram. I hope everybody's tuned in for the next fight, December 2nd on the Zone. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight and a great showcase.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, man. You know, for myself, for Eddie, and for Ezekiel, bro. Thank you so much for gracing us, man.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm gonna go back and watch these fights and support these guys, man. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
All right, champ. God bless you, man.
All right, likewise.
All right, man. That's it, bro. Cool interview, man. Darius Fulghum. Check him out. Follow his career. He's fighting on the Zone on December 2nd. So check him out, man. Peace.